Chosen one, you just made someone believe that you can enter others' dreams, and they are shook because of it. This person will approach you soon under the illusion of peace. Consequences are closing in, and they see you as their last escape, but abundance is moving toward you. Your harvest is active, you don't need them, and that realization is what truly terrifies them. Take yourself back to last night. While you were sleeping peacefully in your own bed, someone else was tossing and turning in theirs, their mind churning through debts and deadlines and consequences they've been running from. Then you appeared in their dream. You weren't threatening them. You weren't speaking accusations. You were simply standing there with this calm knowing radiating from your entire being. Your presence filled their dreamscape with an energy that communicated everything without words. It said, "I see you. I see what you did. I see where this is going. There's nowhere left to hide." When they jolted awake, the fear was immediate. Most people shake off disturbing dreams, pour water, convince themselves it meant nothing. But this person couldn't do that. Something about the dream felt too real, too specific, too knowing. And that's when their mind started racing toward conclusions that should seem absurd, but somehow feel undeniable. Your energy has been shifting, your intuition sharpening, your ability to see through deception developing into something unmistakable. You're not the same person you were before. You've healed, you've grown, you've stepped into a different level of spiritual awareness. And on some energetic level, people can feel this transformation emanating from you. So when this person dreamt of you seeing their secrets, their guilt-ridden mind made a leap. What if chosen ones really do have special abilities? What if spiritual people really can access information through channels beyond normal perception? What if you've been watching all along through means they can't comprehend? The more thoughts spiraled, the more convinced they became. You were in their dream for a reason. You know something. You've discovered what they did. And now the only question is when you'll act on that knowledge. This moment changed everything, transformed you from someone they were avoiding into someone they must approach, shifted their strategy from hiding to damage control. Because in their mind, you're no longer just a person they wronged, you're someone powerful, someone dangerous, someone who might destroy them if they don't get ahead of this immediately. Now let me show you what's really driving this panic, because this isn't about some minor financial misstep or poor judgment call. This is about deliberate theft. This is about someone taking what belonged to you and gambling it away while believing they'd never face consequences. Money was meant for you. Resources with your name attached, whether inheritance, trust fund, settlement or investment, the form doesn't matter. What matters is this was yours by right, meant to change your life, to provide security, to fund your dreams, to establish your foundation for everything coming next. Someone took it without permission. Someone who had access somehow managed to redirect what should have flowed to you into their own schemes and plans. But here's what they told themselves to justify the theft. This wasn't stealing. This was borrowing. This was investing wisely. This was making your money work harder than you ever could. The plan seemed brilliant in their mind. Take your resources, multiply them through some can't-miss opportunity, return what was yours with nobody being the wiser, skim profit off the top as payment for their financial genius. Everyone wins, except the opportunity failed, spectacularly, completely. Your money evaporated, burned through, vanished into nothing. But instead of confessing, instead of taking responsibility, instead of facing what they'd done, this person doubled down, took more money that wasn't theirs, made more bad bets, chased losses like someone at a table who can't walk away. Each loss dug the hole deeper. Each failure made the consequences more severe. Each choice pushed them closer to the edge they're teetering on right now. Legal obligations went ignored, official notices got dismissed, court documents piled up unread, warnings about restitution and deadlines passed without action. This person had time, so much time, opportunities to confess, chances to make arrangements, moments when consequences were still manageable. But pride and denial and busy schedules kept pushing responsibility into tomorrow until tomorrow ran out. Now prison looms real and immediate. Criminal charges for fraud or embezzlement or whatever legal term applies to taking money that wasn't yours and destroying it through negligence and arrogance. Everything built on lies is about to collapse. And you, chosen one, represent the only lifeline this person can imagine grabbing. Something has been developing in you that goes beyond normal human ability. Your intuition has sharpened to the point where deception becomes immediately obvious. Your energy has refined itself into a frequency that exposes everything false. This isn't something you consciously do to people. This is who you've become through inner work, shadow integration, healing old wounds, choosing truth over comfortable lies, standing in integrity even when shortcuts were available. All of that work has transformed your energetic signature into something that operates like a tuning fork for authenticity. People living in lies can physically feel this about you now. When thoughts of you arise, their nervous system reacts. When imagining your face, their body tenses. When dreaming of your presence, their subconscious goes into crisis mode because some part of them knows you represent exposure. They can't escape. Your presence has become like spiritual sunlight, and deception is the vampire that shrivels under your gaze. This person feels this, senses it, knows on a level deeper than conscious thought that you're not someone who can be fooled anymore. Your bullshit detector operates at frequencies they can't jam or manipulate. If you felt called by this message, hype this video so other chosen ones like you can be reached. So when dreams brought you into their sleep state, guilt created an accurate intuition. Your discernment really is that sharp. Your awareness really does penetrate masks and performances. Your knowing really does extend beyond what normal perception should allow. The mechanism isn't supernatural dream walking, but the result is the same. You see truth, and lies can't survive in your presence. This realization has elevated you to mythological status in their mind. You've become something beyond human, someone who operates by different rules, someone with abilities they can't explain or defend against. And that belief, that terror, that certainty you possess power over them, that's actually protecting you in ways you're about to discover. Watch how this unfolds when contact finally happens, because even in desperation, manipulation remains the default mode for someone this practiced at deception. The initial approach will seem casual, friendly even, just reaching out, been thinking about you, wondering how life has been treating you, small talk designed to test waters and gauge your energy, looking for any sign you know what was done, searching for hints about how much awareness you possess. If you seem unaware, the strategy shifts toward building false intimacy, reminding you of shared history, bringing up old memories, creating artificial connection designed to make you feel obligated based on past relationship. Then slowly, carefully, working toward the ask, presenting it as opportunity, as partnership, as something benefiting you both, never mentioning what was already taken, never confessing the theft underneath the request. Love bombing activates next, attention, affection, compliments about your judgment and character, making you feel special, important, trusted with confidences and vulnerabilities. All of it designed to lower defenses and bypass critical thinking through emotional manipulation. But if sensing you know something, if your responses indicate awareness, the approach adjusts immediately. Hints about difficulties drop into conversation, suggestions of hard times faced, implications of mistakes made under pressure, testing whether confession might work better than deception, trying to frame themselves as victim deserving compassion rather than criminal deserving consequences. Watch for the tells that reveal genuine terror beneath performed humility, excessive carefulness with words, starting sentences and stopping, rephrasing multiple times, asking questions that seem random but actually test your knowledge, bringing up specific past events to gauge your reactions, searching your face for any indication you see through the performance. Their hands will betray them, fidgeting, touching face, adjusting clothing, nervous energy, discharging through movement. Their breathing will be shallow and quick, sometimes holding when your eyes meet theirs, bracing for impact, expecting exposure they believe is coming. Eye contact becomes impossible to maintain, looking at you then, away, back and forth, wanting to read your expression while fearing what you'll see in theirs. Voice pitch rises slightly, tightens, sometimes cracks on words that carry extra weight of deception. All of this confirms they genuinely believe you possess abilities beyond normal awareness. This person approaches, convinced you already know everything, that you can see their secrets, that lying is pointless because your perception extends beyond what should be possible, and that belief fundamentally shifts the power dynamic in your favor. While this person races toward you in desperation, the universe moves toward you with rewards. This timing isn't coincidence. This is deliberate cosmic orchestration designed to test whether you're ready for what's next. Money flows in your direction right now. Real abundance, legitimate resources, not money requiring manipulation or coming with strings attached, but abundance arriving because you've aligned with your highest path, because you've done the inner work, because you've chosen integrity over bitterness and growth over revenge. This is harvest season for everything planted through your spiritual evolution. The return on investment for all the times you chose yourself, for all the boundaries you maintained, for all the truth you honored, even when lies would have been easier. The universe watched every choice, witnessed every moment you stood in integrity, and now cosmic law requires matching that internal alignment with external abundance. But understand the test embedded in this timing. This desperate person is trying to reach you before your harvest fully manifests, attempting to position themselves as your helper while really planning to drain resources meant for your elevation, wanting to attach to your rising like a parasite before you realize you're about to soar without them. Their arrival right now serves a purpose. This is your final exam before graduation into the next level. The universe asking, have you really learned? Have you truly transformed? Can you protect what's yours? Will you choose yourself even when guilt and manipulation try to sway you? Your blessing requires protection. It requires valuing yourself enough to keep it safe. It requires honoring your journey enough to not give abundance away to people who already proved they don't respect you. This isn't about being cruel. This is about being wise. This is about understanding that sometimes the most loving thing you can do is let people face consequences they created. This situation is designed specifically to reveal whether you've integrated everything you've learned, whether growth was real or just performance, whether boundaries are actual or just theoretical. Part of you will feel tempted to help. That's the beautiful part of your heart that wants to believe in redemption, that sees someone suffering and wants to ease pain, that remembers who you were before boundaries and mistakes compassion for enabling. Watch how they pull every emotional string within reach, seeming so humble, so changed, so desperate, so genuinely in need, creating urgency around their crisis, pressuring you to decide quickly before you have time to think or feel or check with your intuition. But pay attention to what isn't being said. Notice the timing. Recognize that approach happens because options ran out, not because genuine desire for connection exists. Understand the urgency is about their survival, not about authentic relationship with you. This person already took from you once, already demonstrated how little your rights and future meant when weighed against their wants, already spent extended time ignoring consequences while hoping problems would magically disappear, only approaching now because every other door slammed shut in their face. Has desperation suddenly created integrity? Has crisis magically transformed someone untrustworthy into someone safe? Or is this simply what desperate people do when they need something, reaching for any life raft regardless of who gets pulled under in the process? Your intuition already knows. That's why this message found you. That's why something in your spirit prepared you before the encounter even happened. You're being warned, equipped, reminded of your power so you don't hand it over to someone who has already proven they'll misuse it. Compassion without discernment is just being used. Forgiveness doesn't require funding someone's next disaster. Love doesn't mean letting people turn you into an ATM for self-created catastrophes. You can acknowledge struggle without fixing it, can wish someone well without financing their recovery, can forgive what happened without trusting them with new opportunities to repeat it. Your no is complete, no explanations owed, no resources required, no emotional labor demanded, no access granted just because someone decided they need you now. The moment you refuse, when you hold that boundary and don't let desperation move you, something shifts. Their belief in your dream-entering abilities intensifies, and that intensification becomes protection from future manipulation attempts. Walking away from your rejection, they'll be convinced you said no because you know everything, not because you're protecting yourself, not because resources aren't available, but because you know what they did and you're withholding help as punishment. The conversation will replay obsessively in their mind, analyzing your words, your tone, your facial expressions, searching for the moment when you revealed awareness of their theft, looking for confirmation you possess the supernatural knowledge they fear. More dreams will come, but now featuring judgment instead of just knowing, exposure instead of just awareness, consequences instead of just observation, their subconscious ramping up intensity because waking life confirmed you're not someone who can be manipulated. Some might spread stories about you being scary, unusual, someone who knows things that shouldn't be knowable. Let that reputation spread, because it protects you from others who might try similar manipulation. It warns people away who don't have good intentions. It establishes you as someone who operates by different rules. Attempts might come later with different approaches, testing whether different emotional triggers work better. This is when your initial no becomes even more crucial. Every time you maintain that boundary, you reinforce that you cannot be moved, that your word means something, that your limits are real. Anger might surface, lashing out, accusations of coldness or cruelty. This happens when manipulation fails and no other tools remain. Don't engage, don't defend, don't justify. Just maintain distance and let their reactions confirm you made the right choice. Mutual connections might hear a version of events where you're the villain and they're the victim. Trust that people who truly know you will see through it, and people who believe their version weren't your people anyway. Your tribe recognizes your energy. Everyone else is just noise. Now let me put you onto something real. Destiny Engine. I built this because I was done watching chosen ones get dragged through betrayal, isolation, and attacks while their enemies strutted around unchecked. I want to help you accelerate the speed of your divine justice and step fully into your purpose. And the beauty of it, you don't even have to lift a finger. Destiny Engine takes their downfall and flips it into your rise. This isn't another meditation app. It's declassified consciousness technology, the same mind programming tools your enemies once used to install fear, competition, and scarcity, re-engineered to restore your sovereignty and align you with the cooperative, upgraded operating framework. It generates personalized sequences mapped to your divine purpose. The hardest thing you'll do is put on headphones, press play, and watch your enemies keep digging their own grave. The collective upgrade is underway. Start your Destiny Engine for $1 today and turn everything they did to break you into fuel for your rise. Link in the description. Throughout all reactions, their fundamental belief that you can access their dreams will strengthen. Because in their mind, only someone who knows everything would remain this unmoved by desperate performance. Only someone who sees all secrets would be this confident refusing them. And that belief becomes a fortress around you, keeps them from trying again, warns others away, establishes you as someone who can't be fooled or used or manipulated, creates energetic protection that renews itself continuously without any effort from you. Understanding power dynamics reveals something most people miss. When someone fears you, that fear creates an energetic boundary they won't cross. Their belief you can enter dreams has given you specific protection. Retaliation won't happen because they think you'll know immediately and respond. Certain lies won't spread because they think you'll expose the truth. Further manipulation won't be attempted because they think you see through everything. Fear makes them cautious, careful, hesitant to move against you in ways they would against someone they considered normal. This isn't about you being aggressive or threatening. This is about them convincing themselves you operate at a level they can't match. You become untouchable in their perception, not because you've harmed them, but because they've decided you could if you wanted to, that you know things that could destroy them, that you have abilities making you dangerous to cross. This perception creates actual safety, self-policing around you, warning others about you, maintaining distance, all serving your highest good, because these aren't people you want close anyway. The beautiful part, you don't maintain this perception through any effort. You don't keep pretending or performing or trying to seem powerful. Their own guilt and fear regenerate this belief automatically without you doing anything. Every dream featuring you strengthens the belief. Every thought about what they did and imagining you finding out deepens the fear. Every consequence encountered makes them wonder if somehow you made it happen. A mythology has formed around you in their mind, and that mythology protects you better than any revenge could, because revenge would be a one-time event. But this ongoing fear, this persistent belief you can see everything, this is protection that renews itself continuously. On an energetic level, you are present in their consciousness, not because you're deliberately entering dreams, but because guilt creates a direct channel. When someone wrongs another person, they energetically tether themselves to that person. The wronged party lives in their mind, shows up in their thoughts, appears in their dreams. You're there because they put you there. Their actions created the connection. Their secrets maintain it. Their fear strengthens it. You're not doing anything. Your energy gets pulled into their awareness because they can't escape what they did to you. This is why dreams feel so real to them, why your presence seems so knowing, why waking up brings conviction you were actually there. Because in a sense you were, not through any action of yours, but through natural consequence of their betrayal, creating an energetic link they can't sever. The only way to remove someone from your dreams is making things right with them, clearing the debt, facing the truth, taking responsibility. But they can't do that, can't make right what they did, can't return what they took, can't undo the betrayal. So you stay in their dreams, a constant reminder, a persistent presence, a mirror reflecting their own guilt back at them. And the more they avoid dealing with what they did, the stronger your presence in their subconscious becomes. This is how conscience works for everyone. People we wrong show up in our dreams because our deeper self knows we need to address what we did. The difference here is this person has elevated you to mythological status, deciding you're not just appearing due to their guilt, you're appearing because you have power. And in choosing to believe that, they've given you a different kind of power, the power of their fear, the power of their caution, the power of their certainty. You're someone they can't fool. Here you stand, chosen one, at this crossroads where everything you've learned converges into one defining moment. Someone is approaching who believes you can enter their dreams and witness their secrets. Someone terrified of what you know. Someone desperate for your help, while simultaneously fearing your awareness. And you're calm, centered, clear, because you understand something they don't. Real power isn't about controlling others. It's about being so grounded in your own truth that nothing external can shake you. Real power isn't making them confess. It's knowing you don't need their confession to trust your intuition. Real power isn't exposing them, it's being so secure in your own knowing that their lies become irrelevant. Real power isn't revenge. It's choosing yourself so completely that their drama can't touch your peace. Someone's coming to you believing you hold supernatural abilities. You know better. Your power comes from something more reliable than magic. It comes from the work you've done, the healing you've chosen, the truth you've embraced, the boundaries you've established. You've become someone who can't be manipulated because you've learned to trust yourself more than you fear other people's reactions. You've developed the kind of clarity that makes deception obvious. You've cultivated the kind of peace that refuses to be disturbed by other people's chaos. And you are ready, so ready, because if you weren't, this test wouldn't be appearing. The universe only gives you what you're prepared to handle. This person showing up right when your blessings are about to manifest is perfect timing. Your final exam before graduation into your new reality. So when arrival happens with white flag and fear and desperation and belief that you can enter dreams, receive them with the calm certainty of someone who knows exactly who you are and what you deserve. Don't be moved by tears. Don't be swayed by promises. Don't be manipulated by fear. Just be you. Powerfully, peacefully, unapologetically you. On the surface level, they fear exposure. They fear you discovering what they took from you. They fear the social consequences of people finding out they're a thief. They fear losing respect, losing relationships, losing the image they've carefully constructed. This is ego fear. This is concern about how they'll be perceived. One layer deeper, they fear legal consequences. They fear prison time. They fear criminal charges. They fear losing freedom. They fear their entire life being destroyed by the justice system. This is survival fear. This is concern about fundamental safety and autonomy. But go deeper still, and you find something more primal. They fear you specifically, not just what you know or what you might do, but who you are, because you represent something that fundamentally threatens their worldview. You're living proof that people can heal from betrayal. You're walking evidence that choosing integrity actually leads somewhere good. You're a mirror showing them who they could have been if they'd made different choices. Your very existence challenges their narrative about why they did what they did. They told themselves they had no choice, that circumstances forced them, that anyone in their position would have done the same. But here you are, someone who faced difficulties and chose differently. Someone who encountered obstacles and found ethical ways through. Someone who experienced hardship without becoming a person who steals from others. You invalidate their excuses simply by being who you are. And that's terrifying to someone who has built their entire identity around justifying their actions. If you can heal and grow and thrive without becoming what they became, then what does that say about their choices? What does that reveal about their character? This is the deepest level of fear, the existential dread that maybe they're not a good person forced into bad circumstances. Maybe they're someone who chose the easy wrong over the hard right. And maybe facing you means facing that truth about themselves. So when they dream about you, it's not just fear of consequences, it's fear of confronting who they really are. And the fact that you seem to see them so clearly in these dreams, that your presence exposes everything they've hidden from themselves, that's what has them truly shook. The universe doesn't do coincidence. The fact that this person is approaching you right now, right when your blessings are about to manifest, right when you're on the verge of stepping into your next level, that's not random, that's designed. You needed one final test before you could fully own what's coming to you. Because abundance without the ability to protect it just becomes a bigger loss. Power without boundaries just becomes a weapon others use against you. Success without discernment just becomes a target for people who want to take from you. So the universe arranged for the perfect test to appear, someone from your past who already proved they'll take from you, someone desperate enough to try manipulation, someone convinced you're more powerful than you used to be, but unsure exactly what you know. Someone who believes you can enter dreams and see their secrets. This scenario is specifically calibrated to challenge every lesson you've learned. Will you maintain boundaries even when someone is begging? Will you trust your intuition even when their story sounds convincing? Will you choose yourself even when guilt whispers that helping them is the spiritual thing to do? Will you protect your peace even when chaos shows up at your door? Pass this test and the universe knows you're ready. The blessings waiting for you require someone who can say no to manipulation. The opportunities aligned for you need someone who trusts themselves over other people's performances. The abundance flowing your way demands someone who values their own journey enough to not sacrifice it for someone else's drama. This person showing up now is actually a gift, not because reconciliation is possible, not because helping them would be good, but because saying no to them proves you've really changed. Holding your boundary demonstrates you've integrated the lessons. Choosing yourself shows you're ready for what's next. The moment you pass this test, the moment you refuse to let their crisis become your emergency, the moment you choose your peace over their pressure, something shifts in the cosmic order. It's like the universe was waiting for confirmation that you're really ready. And your no provides that confirmation. Watch what happens in your life after you hold this boundary. Watch how doors open, how opportunities appear, how resources flow, how people show up who actually add value instead of taking from you. The universe rewards those who demonstrate they can protect their blessings. Before this person even made contact, before they decided to approach you, before they had that dream that convinced them you can enter their sleep, your intuition was already preparing you. You've been feeling something brewing, something approaching, something about to shift. Trust what your gut has been telling you. Trust the knowing that lives beneath conscious thought. Trust the wisdom your body carries. Because your intuition has been tracking this situation long before your mind understood what was happening. When this person finally shows up, when they start their performance, when they try to pull on your heartstrings and manipulate your compassion, your intuition will speak. It will feel like a tightening in your stomach, a whisper of no in your mind, a sense of wrongness you can't quite articulate but absolutely cannot ignore. Don't override that knowing with logic. Don't talk yourself out of what you feel because their words sound reasonable. Don't dismiss your inner guidance because you think you're being too harsh or too suspicious or too closed off. Your intuition is your direct line to truth. It picks up on frequencies your conscious mind misses. It reads energy your eyes can't see. It knows things your ears can't hear. When it tells you something is off, period. This is part of being a chosen one. You have access to information through channels most people have shut down. You can sense deception. You can feel manipulation. You can recognize performance even when it's masterful. And all of that happens through your intuition. So when the moment comes, when you're face to face with this person and they're saying all the right words and seeming so sincere and maybe even crying real tears, check in with your body. What is your gut saying? What is your heart knowing? What is your energy reading? If every cell in your body is screaming no, even while your mind says maybe I should help, you know which one to trust. Your intuition has been preparing you for this exact moment. Honor what it's telling you. One of the most powerful shifts you've experienced is this: you no longer need their understanding. You don't need them to see your perspective. You don't need them to acknowledge what they did. You don't need them to validate your choice to refuse them. You don't need anything from them at all. This freedom is what makes you untouchable. When you needed their approval, they had leverage. When you wanted their validation, they had power. When you sought their understanding, they could withhold it and keep you hooked. But now you're complete without anything they could offer. They can think you're cruel, they can tell people you're cold, they can paint themselves as the victim and you as the villain, they can believe you're punishing them unfairly, they can decide you're less spiritual or less evolved or less compassionate than you claim to be. And none of it touches you, none of it changes your truth, none of it moves you from your decision. This is the level of self-possession that makes people believe you have supernatural powers. Because most people are so desperate for approval, so hungry for validation, so afraid of being misunderstood, that they'll compromise their boundaries to avoid being seen negatively. But not you, not anymore. You've reached a place where your own knowing matters more than anyone else's opinion, where your own peace matters more than anyone else's comfort, where your own truth matters more than anyone else's version of events. This doesn't make you arrogant. This makes you sovereign. This doesn't make you cold. This makes you boundaried. This doesn't make you less spiritual. This makes you wise, and when this person encounters someone who genuinely doesn't need anything from them, who can't be manipulated through approval-seeking or guilt or shame, it completely dismantles their strategy. All their techniques for getting what they want rely on the other person caring about their perception, but you don't, and that leaves them with nothing. This is your superpower. This is what makes you seem like you can read minds and enter dreams and know secrets, because you operate from a place of such internal completeness that their external manipulations slide right off. You're not defensive because you're not trying to prove anything. You're not angry because you're not threatened. You're just clear, calm, certain, and that clarity, that calm, that certainty, it's more powerful than any aggressive response could ever be. What you do in this moment matters beyond this one interaction. The boundary you set here sends ripples out into your entire life, into your future, into the lives of people you haven't even met yet. When you say no to this person, when you refuse to let their desperation override your discernment, you're establishing a precedent. You're teaching the universe how you expect to be treated. You're showing cosmic forces that you value yourself enough to protect what's yours, and the universe responds to that. Opportunities that respect your boundaries start appearing. People who honor your worth start showing up. Resources that come without manipulation start flowing, because you've demonstrated you won't accept less than you deserve. But this also affects the person asking. Your refusal forces them to face consequences they've been running from. And while that might seem harsh in the moment, it's actually the most loving thing you can do, because the only way they'll ever change is by hitting a wall, by running out of people to manipulate, by being forced to look at themselves and their choices without any more escape routes. Your no might be the thing that finally pushes them toward the transformation they need, not because you're trying to teach them a lesson, but because natural consequences are the greatest teacher. And sometimes the most compassionate thing you can do for someone is refuse to rescue them from the results of their own actions. Beyond that, other people are watching how you handle this. People in your life who might not even know the details but can sense your energy, can feel your certainty, can observe your peace in the face of pressure. You're modeling what healthy boundaries look like. You're demonstrating that it's possible to say no and survive the discomfort. You're showing that choosing yourself doesn't make you a bad person. Someone out there needs to see you stand firm. Someone is struggling with their own boundary issues, and watching how you handle this will give them courage for their own situation. Someone is learning from your example, even if you never know about it. This is part of being a chosen one. Your journey isn't just about you. Your growth creates pathways for others. Your healing opens doors for people you'll never meet. Your boundaries give permission to people who have been taught that saying no is selfish. So stand in your power, knowing it matters beyond this moment. Knowing your choice creates ripples you can't see, but that spread further than you imagine.